Hello there, this is a brief intro video. I'm doing this video really to both inform and give some basic background information about myself and what am I doing with this project. I'm sure other Battlefield fans out there are quite curious and would like to know at least a little bit more on the subject matter and wish to simply know what or why the uniforms dice, what or why. Some of these design choices, which strange to some, do have a grain of truth, which sadly are never really built on, and discussion rarely goes much further than subtly stating that this is wrong or not accurate, and then a lot of digital online shouting follows. I wish to fill in the gaps and explain why it is wrong, what they were trying to do, and what should really be with some sort of visual example, either recreated, reenacted, or drawn. As you can tell, this is a channel focused mainly on the Battlefield franchise, 5 at the moment, as it is the one I'm playing the most, and perhaps even the older games too if I don't burn out or lose interest. I've chosen this simple vague narrator of an uncut video in the odd still image format as my IT skills are not top notch and I have not the money to splash on super fancy video editing software. Think of this as a vaguely moving podcast. At some point, might record stuff in cinema mode for the game to spice things up visually. Most of what you will see will however just be images and video footage from my company. But here, I want to tell you the basics. Now, I've been around, started this franchise playing back in 2002, right at the beginning more or less, unless you count Codename Eagle. Got most of the games, in fact. Started playing 1942 and it kind of, as a teenager, triggered my long story now interest in military history. No regrets. None. Well, except for storage space. I have followed the series mostly until the present day, playing a majority of the titles and even invest some time in the games set in the modern era, Battlefield 3 and 4 mainly. I rarely touched Hardline, wasn't really interesting. They were still fun to play, however. The fundamentals of the game, they're still fun to play. That said, I will of course still be critical towards DICE and their choices, and certainly very much so towards Electronic Arts, who I feel is the biggest criminal in the current gaming market. I'm not going to make any direct money from this, by the way. If anything, the books I use for my research, the people who wrote them, the people who published them, the people who drew the art for them, they should get the money. Please consider purchasing books and getting more information from them. The artists and historians did the real work. I'm just breaking that down in the laziest way possible. In fact, I highly encourage you to visit some YouTube channels that do history in a more hardcore way than I do. World War II Online Daily, By the Time Goes Down, You People, Bloke on the Range, Mark Felton Productions, and Uniform History. They're all solid stuff. Also, a disclaimer, I am doing this as a casual nerd hobby thing. I am not 100% sure or correct sometimes. I can be wrong. I'm not the de facto authority of this sort of subject, and my research can be limited due to both time and budget. I highly encourage once again anyone to seek out the books themselves and learn and educate themselves in the subject matter. It can be quite fascinating and a good read. So sit back, fill your head with my nasal rambling nonsense, and have a good time. Maybe we'll cross paths when we're playing with or against each other in the game too. Have a good time. Take care.